beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is indeed the first time that you're on my channel, my name is Vanessa and I, and I would like to welcome you into the fam. So guys, in today's pick a card, or shall I say pick a planet reading, we will be looking into what's coming towards you between October 25th and December 31st. And what makes this period in time so significant and interesting is that it seems that everything that can retrograde is retrograding. And don't worry you guys, if you're completely new to tarot and astrology, I'll explain everything as we go. All you need to know right now is that I've got 5 groups prepared for you, and each one of these groups is represented by one of the 5 planets which are going in and out of retrograde during October 25th to December 31st. So in just a moment, I will introduce you to the 5 groups, and what I'd like you to do is to then pick one of these 5 groups, whichever one resonates the most with you. Then you scroll down into the description box or to the top of the comment section, click the corresponding timestamp, and you'll be fast forwarded to the relevant portion of this video where you will receive your very own super personalized prediction. And just as a little side note, all important astrological events during this period of time are listed in the description box. So if you'd like to read up on what's happening starting on October 25th, which is actually a new moon in Scorpio and a solar eclipse, all the way through to the end of the calendar year, December 31st, feel free to check that out below in the description box. And furthermore, if you don't know what a planet being in retrograde means, you've probably heard of the famous term Mercury retrograde before, right? And Mercury is one of the planets moving into retrograde during this period of time. So the gist of retrogrades is all planets within our solar system go retrograde at some point during the year. And retrograde is what occurs when a planet appears to be moving backward in the sky. It's not actually moving backwards, but it just seems that way. Which is why when certain planets are in retrograde, it can make you feel like you're going backwards for a little bit in your life. So for example, if the planet Mars is the planet of motion, you may feel like you're moving backwards in a lot of different endeavors when Mars is in retrograde. But actually what's happening is that you're still moving forward because the retrograde was a necessary step in the process. So retrogrades are all about reevaluating, rethinking, and redirecting yourself. So different planets in retrograde affect different areas of our lives, and that's what we're going to be discussing, and we'll be going into some deep detail during these readings. But now please allow me to introduce you to the 5 groups that I have prepared for you so that we can move into your readings. Group number 1 corresponds to Jupiter as well as the carnelian. Group number 2 corresponds to Neptune as well as the citrine. Group number 3 corresponds to Mars as well as the red jasper. Group number 4 corresponds to Uranus as well as the lapis lazuli. And group number 5 corresponds to Mercury as well as jade. But as already mentioned, the timestamps to all 5 groups can be found below in the description box as well as pinned to the top of the comment section. And guys, if you like this super fresh, innovative video format, make sure that you don't forget to thumbs the video up, as well as leave a little planet or luminary emoji below in the description box. The choice is yours, and I just can't wait to see the comment section filled with all these fun emojis. And if this is the first time that you're on my channel and you absolutely love this space and already find comfort in it, don't forget to subscribe in order to never miss another one of my videos. So now let's get into your readings. I will be starting off with Jupiter as well as the carnelian. So if this is the group that you chose, then please continue watching. And to all of my other beautiful groups, planets, and retrogrades, I'll catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading. You chose Jupiter in connectivity to the carnelian crystal. So let me explain to you what's going on so we can get into your reading. So I painted all the different planets and added their corresponding dates when they're going into retrograde, so we can actually add dates to when different things are happening and transpiring for you within the next couple weeks, which makes this pick a card reading video so precise. This psychic prediction is unlike anything you've seen on YouTube because we are getting factual, honey. So don't overthink it, just enjoy your prediction and us getting into all the nitty-gritty details. I'll explain everything step by step as we go along. So let's get into your prediction. You felt really drawn to Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of growth, of higher education, of communication and long distance travel, okay? Communicating with people all over the planet. And And in case you didn't know, Jupiter is in retrograde until November 23rd. So let's see what you need to look out for during this period of time, especially up until the 23rd of November, and also how the area of your life of abundance will be affected by Jupiter being in retrograde. We've got the Hierophant for you, group number 1. So the Hierophant is actually the 5th card of the tarot, and the number 5 in numerology is often seen as a number of competition, of action, of doing things. I see within the Hierophant that you will be very focused on your education as well as your belief systems here up until November 23rd. So maybe you have some very important exams around this time as Jupiter is in retrograde. And I want you to know here that focusing on your career or on your studies, on your education, even just reading books, right? Like self-help books, listening to podcasts that are educational, all of this can help you in order to make the most of Jupiter being in retrograde, especially if you've had any doubts, if you're feeling like you're not sure whether you're going to pass this exam, how your job's going to look like, whether a promotion is happening. If you've got any fears about the upcoming year, 2023, I want you to know here that the best thing you can do, as the Hierophant suggests, is to put your head down and really focus on where your mind goes, because wherever your thoughts flow is where your energy goes as well. So try to focus on what you want, not what you're afraid of, group number 1. And furthermore, know here within the Hierophant and Jupiter, which is the planet of growth in your abundance as well. So think earthly abundance, material things, finances. You really have to believe, because your mindset is everything. So many people who consider themselves as successful and who you and I would look at and say, wow, this person is wildly successful. They are the type of people who have fine-tuned their mind to focus on the positives, not the negatives. They're the type of people who have faith, who believe in themselves, who don't put themselves first, but put a greater cause as the epicenter of why they get up every morning, and they're excited for life. Next up, we've got the Suit of Rods here. Now, the Page of Rods in the traditional tarot is known as the Page of Wands, so the page of the element of fire. So I do see here that we've got some young fire sign energy, which means that you're feeling really motivated. You've got lots of innovative ideas coming to you up until November 23rd that have to do with growing your net worth and your network, with changing how you live, and overall just transforming your lifestyle. That's one thing that I can see here in connectivity to Jupiter and Jupiter being in retrograde. Next up, we've got the 4 of Coins for you. So saving, not spending too much, and also not falling for any marketing tactics. That's one thing that I can see here for these next couple weeks and months for you. I see that you're paying close attention to your finances, and it's important for you to be smart when it comes to your spending habits. It's important for you to ensure that you feel like you're actually in control and you know what you're doing. And I see within Jupiter retrograde, as well as the other retrogrades that we have going on and the 4 of Coins, that it's best for you to really think things over. For example, if there's something you want to purchase or a loan that you want to take on for a car or a home, or even something like a wedding, it's important for you to really think it over multiple times and also find ways that you maybe don't even need to take on the loan. Maybe find other ways to abundance. I want to move more deeply into your reading. Let's talk about Uranus next. In Uranus, we have a retrograde that starts on August 24th, 2022. So a couple weeks or months thereafter you watching this video, and it ends on the 23rd of January in 2023. So Uranus will be in retrograde for the entire time that we're discussing within this prediction. Now let's see what effect Uranus is going to have. We've got the Forest. So I see here within the Forest that what Uranus is going to do is it's going to really surprise us, because Uranus is actually the planet of the unusual and unexpected. It's a planet of reform, of revolution, of change. I see here within the Forest that there are a lot of things that you absolutely did not expect that Uranus is going to bring to light, and Uranus is going to affect during these next couple weeks and months. So up until the 31st of December, Uranus will continue to surprise you. It will continue to bring unconventionality into your life, and it will continue to make you feel as though life is super exciting, and it will bring out more of your personal quirks and uniqueness. So being the type of person who is maybe a little bit shy, I see that Uranus in retrograde is actually making you more extroverted for this period of time. Next up, we've got the wedge. So I also see that what will come as a surprise is that Uranus in retrograde may drive a wedge between you and a friend. And I see that this has to do with your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. So you may be having a really big goal and dream, and you're telling it to a friend or a family member, and they're just shooting it down. They just don't believe in it at all. And this is something that hurts you. This is something that drives a wedge between you and that person, because I see here within Uranus in retrograde that you've got this stubborn edge up until the 31st of December. And you're not going to allow anyone to tell you what you can or cannot do, because you're truly of the mindset that if you believe you can do it, you can accomplish it. And that is 100% true, group number one. Stick to that. Next, I want to talk about Mars in retrograde. We've got the box here. Now, the planet of Mars is the planet of movement. It is a very assertive planet. It is the planet of independence and pioneering, of aggressiveness as well. And Mars will be in retrograde from the 30th of October up until January 12th, 2023. So quite a few months here, and throughout the entire time span of when we're talking about in this prediction. So I see here within the box that actually here in connectivity to Mars, what's happening for these next weeks and months for you till the end of the calendar year is that you're repressing a lot of your anger. You're keeping a lot of things that you don't like within yourself. You're holding it in. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to bring it up. You don't want to tell anyone what you're going through. You've got a lot of private matters that you're keeping boxed in. And this is definitely something that we need to talk about, group number one, especially if this has to do with any type of childhood trauma, with things that you've been through that maybe would be best said out loud. I do want you to know here within Mars retrograde that you don't have to box this in. You don't have to feel like you must keep things to yourself. Even if you're worried about it driving a wedge between you and family members or coworkers, if there was an inappropriate encounter with someone at work or growing up and they were the adult or they were the person in the position of power, it is never your fault, group number one, if someone uses their position of power or authority in order to get what they want. And that actually says a lot about them. And it just is sad that you were exposed to that situation. So never feel as though anything is your fault. And know here within the scales that what we've got in connectivity to your Mars retrograde, so up until the end of the calendar year, is you're being encouraged to keep things in balance. Yes, you don't need to tell everybody your traumas and your life story, group number one. Of course, that's not what we want to do, because we got to be careful with whom we share intimate details with, especially if there's some people who like to talk or gossip. But at the same time, you need some balance. You need some outlets. You need the opportunity and possibility to open up and talk to someone about what you've been through. And that's one thing that I see here with the box and the scales. Now I want to talk about Neptune retrograde. Neptune is in retrograde up until the 4th of December and begins retrograde way before this video on the 28th of June. But Neptune is obviously in that case one of the 5 planets which are in retrograde up until the 31st of December of 2022. So here in connectivity to Neptune, we've got the Mask card. Let's zoom in here. Okay, there we go. So in case you didn't know, Neptune is the planet of imagination, and I see here within the Mask that you've got like 2 sides to yourself, okay? Within Neptune, I can see that you're a visionary. You're someone who has this kind of like psychic sensitivity. You're someone who has really amazing imagination. You're maybe very artistic. You always think of great solutions where other people only see difficulties. And I do see here within Neptune and retrograde and the Mask that it's like you've got 2 sides to yourself up until the 4th of December. That's how this Neptune retrograde is affecting the different parts of your personality and your life. It's like you're splitting between a side that's maybe more conservative and a side that's very open-minded and outgoing. And I do see some tension here in connectivity to your job. So maybe feeling as though your job is a place where you can't be yourself as much as you want to, and you just want to take the mask off. You just want to be yourself. That's one thing that I see here, that Neptune retrograde is really bringing out in you, this urge to just not give an F, so to say, group number one, to just be 100% strong and confident and authentic in who you are, and to not care whether some people like it or not, because again, that's just who you are, and you were not born to people please or to make other people happy. You are here in order to live your purpose and in order to enjoy your existence. And that's one thing that I see here within Neptune retrograde. I want to add a little bit more detail to this retrograde to see exactly what's going on here. So we've got the gavel. So I can see here with the gavel that what's also happening is that some true colors are going to reveal themselves up until the 4th of December. There will be some sort of involvement with the law that's going to make you think, oh wow, this is really how it is. So either, for example, someone threatening legal action in close proximity, so threatening legal action at your work, maybe, for example, a friend being hit with a legal letter, something like that, where you think to yourself, wow, okay, so some people are really intense and they can't have a conversation. They need to go straight to involving the law and taking legal matters into their own hands. And this is also definitely something that makes you feel like you're not going to box yourself in or kind of show any fear. You will be yourself in a fearless manner. And you know that whether you're nice or you choose to just be yourself and do whatever you want to do, regardless of whether others like it or not. There will always be criticism. There will always be haters. There will always be people who have something to say. So you might as well take off the mask and be your most authentic self. So now let's talk about Mercury in retrograde. Mercury goes into retrograde on the 29th of December and is in retrograde until the 18th of January in 2023. So this planet is going into retrograde right towards the end of this prediction. So let's figure out, oh, okay, I didn't even see we had something going on here. Let's see here right by the forest. Let's talk about this first, and then we'll return to Mercury retrograde, shall we? Why did nobody tell me about this? Here within the bag, I can see something important, such as a new job or a raise. Okay, girl, that's what we've got here with the wedge, the forest, and the scales. So clearly something is happening here when it comes to the abundance, when it comes to understanding the forest. And yes, there are some things that were unclear. There were some things here with Uranus that are unexpected, but great unexpected surprises. That's what I see here with the bag. But coming back to Mercury retrograde, Mercury is the planet of your thinking process, of communication, and also of like local things that are happening. So anything that hits close to home with communication. We've got the threshold. So I see here within Mercury being in retrograde that you're crossing certain boundaries and thresholds that you've never crossed before. And I see that this is happening at the end of the year. So speaking certain things into existence, manifestation, goal setting, but also maybe just saying, you know what? I've tried this whole goal setting at the end of the year. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm actually going to implement little tangible habits every single day that I know I'm going to do, rather than just like huge goals and huge resolutions that fall off at the beginning of the year anyways. So I see you being very honest, being very direct, being very upfront. And I can see that Mercury being in retrograde also is going to affect the fact that you're not waiting for people to come to you and do things for you. If you want information, if you want to know something, if you want to know how to build a business, if you want to know whether your partner is cheating, if you want to know whether you can have that raise in a new job, you're just going to seek out the information. You're just going to ask for it. You're no longer sitting back waiting for things to come to you. You're going out and asking for it and doing it. I see here within the hand that you're becoming unafraid to ask for help or assistance, and you're understanding that just because you're asking for help it's not a bad thing. It doesn't make you a burden, group number one. It actually just shows humility. It shows that you're humble enough to ask someone else for their expertise, to ask them if they can lend you a helping hand. And this is not something to feel any way other than proud about, because a lot of people are struggling unnecessarily, group number one, just because they're too prideful or their ego is maybe in the way of asking for help. But you are disconnecting any negative emotion from the act of asking for help or some guidance. Let's move a little further into your prediction, group number one, so we can figure out anything else that's coming towards you within these next weeks and months up until the end of 2022. So we've got the shark. I see here within the shark that you're finding your purpose. I see up until the end of this year, you will know exactly what it is that you're here to do on this planet. You will be in a space where when you wake up in the morning, you're excited. You want to get things done. You want to go to work. You want to be in your purpose. You want to live your mission, and you want to leave this world having changed it in the best way possible. I see that part of your purpose is also protection, group number one. So if you're, for example, someone who loves to teach or someone who loves children, animals, I see here that you're leaning into your purpose a lot more every single day. So maybe you've got a new teaching position, or you've got a foster animal at home, which means that you're engaging every day with your purpose, be it with students, with animals, maybe the environment, if you're an environmentalist and you're saying to yourself, you know what, I don't need meat, for example, anymore because it's very bad for the environment. Every day you're engaged with it, that you're eating a vegan or vegetarian diet, group one, because you're living your purpose and you're protecting the planet, you're protecting children, people who are vulnerable, animals. You're really leaning into what fills your heart with joy and gives you this sense of knowing that you're doing something that allows you to feel proud of yourself. Next up, we've got the owl. Now, in the owl, I can see here that what's happening up until the end of the calendar year is that you're gaining wisdom, but also silence, okay? You understand that the people who are usually the most successful or also even have the most wisdom, they don't dominate conversations by talking a lot. They actually dominate conversation with silence, with listening. That's what their silence really is. It's not that they don't care or that they don't want to speak up or they're afraid. Usually the most intelligent people are the ones who do the most listening, and that's what I see here within the owl. The Wolverine shows me that doesn't mean at all that you're a little quaint mouse who's afraid to speak up, who's afraid to say a little peep. All of my beautiful souls of group one, not at all. I see that up until the end of the year, you're growing when it comes to the fierce side of yourself, the side of yourself that is able to stand up for themselves, that isn't afraid to speak up in the face of injustice, and that is also very fierce in protecting their family and loved ones. You're not taking any unwanted energy from any side of the spectrum, be it family, friends, coworkers, bosses. No, group number one, you are protecting your peace. And that's one thing that I can see here that's happening up until the end of the calendar year. Now, group number one, this is the prediction that I received for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure that you leave a little shark emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you watched group number one all the way to the end and you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to share this video with someone who you know would enjoy it too, and whom you would like to pick a group as well, so you can kind of compare their reading to yours. If they end up selecting one of the other planets, if they pick Jupiter as well, then that could be a really fun exchange as well to compare how the reading resonated. So make sure that you share this video with whomever you know this would help, support, and guide. Now, group one, know that I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number two. Now you chose Neptune in connectivity to the citrine crystal. Allow me to explain to you what we've got going on in this super intricate, innovative setup. So I've got all of the planets here, including their retrograde dates. So all of the planets that are going into retrograde from now until December 31st. And we're going to talk about exactly how all these planets affect your life. And having the dates in which they're in retrograde gives us an idea of when certain things are happening and taking place, which makes this psychic reading even more accurate than any other predictions here on the internet. So Neptune will be in retrograde till the 4th of December of 2022, and it starts on the 28th of June. So Neptune has already been in retrograde for a while, and we're kind of riding this out. Now, Neptune, in case you didn't know, is the planet of imagination, of spirituality, the arts, and also psychic abilities and psychic sensitivity. So I want to get into your reading, group number 2, so we can figure out exactly how Neptune retrograde is going to affect your life and what this means for you. What's happening up until the 4th of December and thereon after. But don't worry, we'll also talk about all the other retrogrades too. First up, we've got the stone for you, group 2. So in the stone, I can see that what Neptune in retrograde is going to do for you, it's actually going to solidify some of your psychic abilities. So group number 2, if you've been seeing a lot of synchronicities, which means reoccurring number patterns, for example, constantly seeing the number 111, 222, I want you to know here within the stone that the more you look at these synchronicities and symbols that are showing up, the more you're actually following and discovering your psychic abilities. And I see here within the stone that you're actually kind of training yourself to become more sensitive to your emotions and the abilities you were born with by exercising them every single day. So using your instinct, your gut feeling to make decisions. Also, if you feel as though when you enter a room, you can already tell who you'll vibe with and who not, that's also another thing you're going with, which means that you're training your clairsentient senses, right? Of really understanding what's going on without needing words. Maybe you also feel as though you've got dreams or visions sometimes of the future and you've got this clairvoyant side to yourself. That is where I can see that Neptune in retrograde is really solidifying your abilities and showing you where there's maybe a lot more to you and the secret of who you are than you ever realized and expected. Next up, we've got the sword. Now, I do see here within the sword that one thing that's going to happen, the more you train your psychic abilities up until the 4th of December, the more you're kind of going to make a cut between you and the people whom you just don't get good vibes from. And I want you to know here in connectivity to Uranus, which is actually a planet of the unexpected, of reform, of revolution, which will be in retrograde till the 23rd of January, that you are all about a personal revolution in your friend circle. You can't be hanging out with people anymore who don't believe in success, who don't have a positive mindset, and with whom all you can do is gossip. That's not your vibe. That's not what you're into, group number 2. And I definitely see you kind of removing yourself from those relationships because you understand that not only are they not serving you, but they're also not serving the other person, because you would be dishonest if you continued on with relationships with people whom you've just kind of outgrown. So I definitely see some big changes in your friend circle and your social life. I want to talk about Jupiter retrograde here as well. So Jupiter is in retrograde from the 28th of July 2022 up until the 23rd of November 2022, and Jupiter is the planet of growth and also of anything long distance. So there may be something changing here in your vision for the future up until the 23rd of November, roughly. I see here within the mask that a lot of truths are going to be revealed and you're going to know more about your future before the 23rd of November. So there's a big piece of information that will be revealed. For example, if you're going to be able to get a raise, to switch jobs, to move to another city, continent, geographic location. I see here within the mask and Jupiter retrograde that you're going to get all the information that you need, all the clarity that you need up until the 23rd of November. So group number 2, if there are uncertainties that you have about your job, your living situation, or a long distance relationship, I want you to know that those questions will be cleared till the 23rd of November. You're going to find out what to do. You're going to end the standstill that the connection has been in. So if you're in a long distance relationship or you've got friends and family who are really far abroad, you will make those travel plans and you will figure out what's coming next with those relationships. So we've got the Fly. One thing that I can see here within the Fly is that you're trying to avoid feeling down. I can see here that you're trying to avoid a period of ill health, of course. I mean, of course, nobody wants to suffer from ill health, but I can see here, especially connected to Neptune retrograde, as well as the Sword and Uranus being in retrograde, you're very sensitive physically to other people's energies, vibration, and negativity. If you're around someone who constantly complains or is super negative, group number 2, it actually physically drains you. Like, you actually feel like you need a nap afterwards. And I definitely see that this is something that you're trying to stay away from. Within the candle, I see that you will be shown the way and some information that you've always needed when it came to these long distance relationships, as we spoke about. But I also want you to know here with the stone, the mask, and Jupiter in retrograde, that we have a higher education where you'll be shown the way as well. So if you've always wanted to go back to school or get extra credentials and extra diploma, I want you to know here within the candle that you will be shown a way of how you can accomplish that and how you can get to there in a way that doesn't cause so much extra struggle, and in a way that you can get there sooner rather than later. So we haven't yet touched upon Mercury in retrograde and Mars in retrograde. Let's start off with Mercury in retrograde, which is probably the most famous retrograde. Mercury will be in retrograde from the 29th of December 2022 up until the 18th of January in 2023. So let's see how this will affect your life. I can see here that when Mercury is in retrograde, you will be offered help. You will be offered some sort of helping hand, be it financially or emotionally, from a person, from a source where you did not expect it. And in connectivity to having the jade crystal connected to Mercury, I see that this is just the perfect moment for someone to offer you help and assistance, because with Mercury in retrograde, it's hard for you to communicate what you really need. This is the planet of communication. And when you're in a space of feeling like everything is just too much at the end of the year, and really what you want to do is just kind of chill or set your goals for the upcoming calendar year, it can be really great to have someone take your hand, invite you to a dinner or a meditation session, or even a goal board session where you create a vision or a goal board with one another. Next up, we've got the best of you. Now, group number 2, and the best of you, I can see here that this offering is actually going to bring out the best of you. I see that the end of the calendar year is going to trigger some sides of yourself that you feel really proud of. I can see that you're going to end 2022 on a super strong note, on a high note, showing everyone what you're capable of, and just overall living it up, okay? Enjoying your life. I do see here within the Mercury retrograde that, contrary to popular belief, actually this retrograde is serving you, and it's allowing you to accept offerings, which is bringing out the best in you, because usually you're so self-sufficient, you're so independent, group number 2, that you don't want to accept help. You don't want to feel like a burden. But because Mercury is in retrograde and you've got other things going on, that you're not even really focused on declining compliments, help, and offerings, you're gracefully accepting them. You are actually in your divine feminine, because that is the energy of receiving and accepting. And this really brings out a soft, super beautiful side of you, and connecting that to the masculine part of yourself, the part that gets things done, that takes action. It is just this super amazing balance of energy that brings out your inner and outer beauty. Now, group 2, let's talk about Mars in retrograde for a little bit. Mars is in retrograde from the 30th of October of 2022 up until the 12th of January of 2023. Now, Mars is the planet of assertiveness, aggressiveness, of competition, independence, being pioneering. So I want to see how Mars retrograde is going to affect your life and what's going on, what's going to happen here from the 30th of October onwards. So we've got the box. I can see here within the box that what Mars in retrograde is actually going to do is it's going to take negative emotions, it's going to take aggressiveness, and it's going to put them in this little box. And one thing that I want you to do, group number 2, is to remember that keeping things in this little box keeps them safe. It keeps them away from lashing out at other people. It makes sure that you never say or do anything that you're going to regret. Because once you've said something, you've said it, you can't take it back. The other person has heard it. It's out there in the universe. But one thing that you do also need to do every now and then is alleviate the pressure from this box and open it in a safe place. So by opening this in a safe place, I mean, if there are things bothering you, rather than being confrontational or getting into an argument with the person whom this concerns, you're taking your journal, you're recording a voice note, you're laying awake at night talking to the universe, to God, talking to them about how you don't like what happened and you want to be shown a way how you no longer have to engage in this situation. You're not taking it out on anybody, especially because you know that that's just going to be like wasted time and energy. But it's important that you have an outlet, right? That you are either talking to your journal, as in writing things down, speaking about your feelings, also maybe visiting a therapist, a licensed practitioner who knows how to deal with anger, with any type of repressed emotions that you feel like you've been keeping confined, because I do definitely see here that there is going to be a lot that's stuffed into this little box, this little area. And at some point, you need to deal with it. At some point, you need to make sure that it doesn't pop, that it doesn't burst, and that the box doesn't get too full. You have to rummage through it every now and then. Next up, we've got connecting with nature. So that is how your guides in the universe feels like you can also alleviate some pressure, tension, and stress from the areas of your life that have been challenging or difficult. So if, for example, this little box with secrets and challenges that you've been going through with people whom you need to forgive is kind of getting full, go out in nature. One thing that I do, group number 2, almost every single day is I go out in nature for a walk. I get my steps in, I go for a run, whatever I can do to be out in nature. I make sure I'm out there, okay? It doesn't matter what the weather is like. It doesn't matter if it's cold, if it's hot, if I'm in the mood or not, because I know when I come back, I will feel so connected. I will feel like there has been a huge weight lifted off of my shoulders, and I will feel ready to continue on with my goals rather than hold a grudge, right? Rather than feel anger towards another person who maybe did me wrong. So that's one thing that I can see that's so important for you to do throughout this entire Mars retrograde is spend time in nature, spend time in a space where you can just be and just focus on something other than being assertive or any anger or something that someone has done to you that upset you. Next up, we've got the sacred orchard, and this actually connects to the master number 33, which in numerology, group number 2, is the number of a great divine teacher, collaborator, and someone who is able to work with a large group of people. So being the CEO, the boss of your own company or a large corporation, that's a type of mindset that we've got here, which really does connect to what this card stands for, which is about co-creating. So creating with other people, making a big dream a reality, and also understanding that your abundance mindset attracts endless blessings. It really is all about your mindset, which is also why you're getting rid of anyone who has a poor mindset. Group number 2, quite literally speaking, because you understand that the more people around you focus on the negatives or what isn't going well, the more that will also affect you and affect your ability to actually exude your abundance mindset. So you understand here that in order to co-create, you have to have co-creators who feel the same way and who have the same kind of philosophy as you do. Last but not least, we've got the mystic. I can see here that your affirmation is as follows: I weave my magic and surrender to the universe. So you are definitely taking time in order to manifest, in order to create healthy routines, in order to do something every single day to create magic. Group number 2, you're not playing games with this life, with these dreams anymore. This is all about you accomplishing your goals and understanding that Just because someone thinks something is impossible, that's their reality. You don't have to let them project that onto you. That's one thing that I can see, that you're kind of keeping anyone's trajectory at arm's length. You're keeping anyone else's beliefs that are limiting away from you. So it's almost like you're saying, hey, like, keep your beliefs far, far away from me because I'm creating magic over here. That's one thing that I can see that this retrogrades energy is all about for you, group number 2. So group 2, we're at the end of your reading. I hope that you enjoyed this really fun, innovative approach to a pick a card prediction. If you did, leave a little wave emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you chose Neptune, and that you watched your prediction all the way up until the end. Now, group 2, know that I'm sending you so much love. I'm giving you so many virtual hugs right now. Thank you for sharing this magical space with me, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your prediction. You chose Mars in connectivity to the red jasper crystal. Allow me to explain to you what's going on here with our setup. So we have all of the planets that are in retrograde, including the dates, so we can talk about exactly what's going on during each retrograde within the next couple weeks and months of your life. So we actually have dates that we can assign to certain events that are coming towards you, making this reading super precise and super detailed. With Mars, we have the master number 22, by the way, which is the number of a teacher, of someone who is caring, giving, and wants to put more out into the world than they take and receive. So the fact that you chose Mars is very telling about who you are, group number 3. And do also know here that Mars is a planet of being assertive, of taking the initiative, and also pioneering, not being afraid of the competition, but actually taking the competition on. Now, Mars is in retrograde from October 30th, 2022 until the 12th of January, 2023. So it'll be retrograding the entire time of this prediction of these next couple weeks and months that we're looking into. So I want to figure out exactly what's coming towards you during Mars retrograde, but also what's coming towards you during Mercury, Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune retrograde. And of course, I will be letting you know the precise dates, so you can also write it into your itinerary, your schedule, and you can properly prepare for everything that we're going to uncover here within your reading. So first up, we've got the purse. You're being called to pay attention to your finances within these next couple months, within the entire time that Mars is in retrograde. I want you to know here that in the next couple months, paying attention to your finances means putting masculine energy into it, because Mars is all about taking action. Okay, so rather than just allowing for subscriptions to renew themselves and automatically charging your card, no, look at those credit card statements. Look at where money is just flying out the window frivolously, where you maybe have not really properly tighten the ropes, and start to reel in your money, group number 3. Don't allow for your finances to just frivolously be all over the place. You worked hard for your money, and it is so important that you protect it with just as much effort as it took to get it. That's what I see here within the purse. Next up, we've got the vine. If you feel a little insecure about finances, group number 3, if the whole topic of financial literacy is scary, if you feel like you're not very good at it, or it was just never taught to you either by parents or, through the education system, because we all know schools don't want us to have any clue how to fill out taxes, what to do about finances. Know here within the vine that all the information is out there. You just have to seek it out, okay? Seek out information that will benefit you, that will help you, that will allow you to make a good decision when it comes to your finances in these next couple months. So group number 3, what I definitely see here while these 5 planets are retrograding for you is an increase in your understanding about finances, and also a lessening of fear when it comes to this topic, because knowledge is power and confidence, and that's exactly what you're gaining. Next up within the ladder, know that you're climbing towards success that way, and that's really the only way you can be successful. Successful is all about learning, trying, failing, and getting up again and continuing on. It's okay for you to make mistakes. Mars is very forgiving forgiving. Mars retrograde means that there will be times where you do things or you remember spending habits and you think to yourself, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Now I know and I can do it differently. And that's completely fine, because remind yourself here that the ladder towards success comes with a lot of instances where there will be lessons to be learned through mistakes. Now, I want to move into some of the other retrogrades as well and connect that to Mars retrograde, because Mars, as already mentioned, it's retrograding the whole time, so it's going to affect all the other retrogrades as well. Let's talk about Uranus retrograde, which is taking place from August 24th of 2022 to the 23rd of January 2023. So Uranus is also retrograding the entire time of this prediction, the entire rest of the year and beyond. So let's see exactly what Uranus is doing. In case you didn't know, not to get all geeky on you, but Uranus is the planet that represents the unusual, the unexpected, uniqueness, also like reform and revolution, okay, trying something out of the ordinary, and just overall not feeling like you have to conform whatsoever. So we've got the vessel. Okay, group number 3. I can see here within Uranus retrograde and the vessel that you're taking charge of being the one who tries something new, like a vessel for a new song, a new project, for something unique, okay, something that is innovative, a vessel for a new creative project. If it's poetry, for example, or you just overall like writing, know here that your body is just a vessel that you can use in order to create art and express yourself. That could be expressing yourself through singing, dancing, whatever it is. Remind yourself here that your soul on the inside is creating, and your body is a tool that you can use in order to show the world what's going on within you. So that's one thing that I can see here within the vessel. I want to add a little bit more info so we can figure out exactly what's going on here with the vessel, what you're creating. This is the Wild Muse Oracle, my latest oracle deck that I published. I absolutely love it. It brings so much clarity. Okay, we have a card that clearly wants to speak. It landed right under Mercury retrograde though. So we are quickly going to hop over from the vessel and what you are creating to Mercury retrograde, group number 3, because this seems to be important, and it seems to be right here during the period of the 29th of December to the 18th of January. That's when Mercury is retrograding. Now, Mercury retrograde is probably the most prominent, the most well-known retrograde, as this is the planet of communication, and usually people complain that everything goes wrong, but trust me, I have a good feeling about your next Mercury retrograde. Okay, group number 3, that good feeling really depends on how you want to see this. There's no way to twist or turn it. Group number 3, it's going to be time for you to move on from something that isn't serving you during the next Mercury retrograde, where communication is just not working. So that could be a romantic partner that is ghosting you, that is hot and cold, on and off. That could also be a friendship where it's just like the person seems to be committed to misunderstanding you all the time. It can also be a parent where you're just deciding, hey, my New Year's resolution is to move on from trying to get an apology, from trying to get them to see what they've done wrong, and just move on with my life and not even give them the power to upset me all the time. That's what I see here with Mercury retrograde in connectivity to time to move on from the Wild Muse Oracle. So it's very clear here that you're going to have to leave something behind and kind of just lick your wounds that you may have accumulated and say to yourself, listen, it's not worth it anymore. I'm moving into 2023, focus on other things. But now let's come back to your Uranus retrograde time. We talked about the vessel and that you're creating something, and we want to find out exactly what it is that you are creating during this period of time. So I'm going to be using the pastel journey for this, because why not? Group number 3, sincerely, just why not? So next up, we've got the 10 of Swords. So one thing that I can see that you're creating is something that's never been done before, and it's something that most likely came to you in your dreams and that you're going to have to start from scratch. Okay, so this is a completely fresh project that I think the world just hasn't seen at all in general. It's like a combination of things. There is some fear involved because it hasn't been done before. Now, what I mean by it hasn't been done before, think this, group number 3. For example, before there were cell phones, there was someone hanging on a telephone with a string, right? One of those old-fashioned ones, like talking at the wall, thinking to themselves, man, if I could just like not have to hang here on this string, on this telephone cord, and have to stay in this space. I could be walking around moving. I could be outside taking a phone call. If only I could take the phone off the wall. And it was just in someone's imagination, right? If that person would have told other people, hey, I imagine a phone that doesn't have to just like be hung on the wall with electricity hooked up to it and everything like that, people would have thought that they are crazy because it was completely new. And up until that point, it has only existed in their imagination. But everything comes from imagination. Group number 3, all the innovation, all of the big cool ideas were first conceived within someone's imagination before it was brought to reality, before it was actually created. And that's what I see here in the 10 of Swords. I mean, no pressure, group number 3, but there's definitely something really big, really unusual and unexpected and innovative that you're thinking of here between the time of you viewing this video and the end of Uranus retrograde, which is the 23rd of January 2023. Next up, we've got the womb. So I want to talk about the womb here in connectivity to Jupiter in retrograde. Jupiter is retrograding for a long time, okay? It started on the 28th of July, retrograding until the 23rd of November 2022. So there's a lot of involvement here with Jupiter. And Jupiter is the planet of growth, higher education, also long distance travel or communication. And I see here within the womb that there's something that you're thinking when it comes to family, when it comes to education, when it comes to children. I also see here within the womb that just your entire mindset about children and family, and maybe also finances and connectivity to education, all of that is changing. And here, if we connect that to Mercury retrograde, I can see that you're also rethinking who you would want to start a family with. If you're in a situation where time to move on means that you're moving on from someone who just isn't super reliable as a romantic partner, obviously here within the womb, that's something that you're basically taking away, right? You're taking away all of those private, sacred privileges and areas from a person whom you're moving on from. But I also want you to know here with Jupiter retrograde and the womb that we have a message of philosophy when it comes to your body and empowerment of your body, the attractiveness level of your body, so to say. I see that you don't want to succumb to what society is trying to teach and preach. You want to make up your own mind about your body and whether it's beautiful or not, because to you, a functioning body is a beautiful body. A functioning womb is a worthy one. And also not allowing for anyone to put you down or make you smaller, especially if you have a womb, right? If you identify as female or not, if you do have a womb, it can sometimes be difficult in this world because there are certain privileges that people without a womb have, and they would never understand that they have those privileges, right? Because they've never been in the situation of the one who has to fight for justice, for the right to vote, for the right to get equal pay, for the right of their voice to be heard. So that is where I definitely also see some activities, some thoughts, and also some real work being put into the situation. So let's talk about Neptune retrograde. We haven't spoken about that at all yet, group number 3. Now, Neptune is retrograding for a long time too. Started on the 28th of June of 2022 and ending on the 4th of December 2022. So beginning of December is when Neptune steps out of retrograde, and I want to see how that will affect your life and just overall what Neptune is doing to you. Now, Neptune is the planet of imagination, of spirituality, the arts. Let's see what's happening during Neptune retrograde for you, group 3. So we've got big changes. There's a lot that's happening when it comes to your psychic abilities and your imagination too. So you may have, for example, thought that you were clairsentient, right? So you can enter a room, you can feel the vibe, you know exactly who you'll get on with and who you won't get along with. And you also kind of know what people are thinking, what mood they're in. But I see here within these big changes that you're learning about new skills that you never realized that you had. So maybe you have this clairvoyant ability where sometimes you will experience something in life and it feels like you already knew that it would happen. It feels like you're experiencing it for a second time. It's like a deja vu. It's like it's happening for the second or third time. So that is where I can see some shifts in your connectivity to your psychic abilities. Furthermore, group number 3, I also want you to know here that with the big changes and Neptune in retrograde, we've also got your spirituality kind of shifting and changing, and you using your spirituality in a different way to serve you. And I want to figure out exactly how that is, or what provoked this shift in your spiritual practice. Ooh, okay, we've got the Empress. I definitely see here that we've got the symbolic motherly figure and energy and beauty. So you wanted to learn to remother yourself, especially if you've had motherly figures in your life whom you felt didn't give you the closeness, the love, the mother's love that you craved, and this kind of like healing or a connectivity to your family patterns, to your family wounds, because maybe it was just never spoken about. I can see that you're learning to remother yourself, to give yourself the nurturing and warmth that you need. Some of us also don't have the privilege to have a mother to call up and speak to. So that is where I can definitely see here in the Empress, things are changing, because for you, spirituality is about love, it's about care, it's about warmth, and seeing beauty in everything and everyone. And I also see here in the big changes, the Empress and Neptune retrograde, that the more in tune you are with your divine feminine energy, the more attractive you seem to other people. And that's where I can see some growth and some increase for the next couple weeks and months for you. Now, I want to come back to the side. Let's talk about Jupiter retrograde, which is going to last till the 23rd of November of 2022. Let's see what else is affected by Jupiter retrograde. We've got Justice. Now, Justice corresponds to the number 11 in the major arcana of the tarot. The Justice card is a card of balance, as you can see here. It actually rules the sign of Libra, not to be all geeky and go into extreme detail. But this tarot card is ruled by Libra, and Libra is the sign of diplomacy. It's the sign of striking that perfect balance. And I can definitely see here in connectivity to the womb that your cycle, if you do have a womb, is coming back to a place of normalcy after Jupiter retrograde. Your body feels a lot less confused or confusing to you. And I see here with Justice that you also understand that there has to be a balance between whom you give your body to, how they treat you, and also reminding yourself here that you can refuse to be with someone in an intimate sense for a very long time. If they're interested in you, they will continue to pursue you. They will continue to try to get closer to you. But what someone who's genuinely interested in you as a whole and wants long-term commitment will not do is that they will not leave you over the fact that you don't want to be intimate or physical immediately, or you have standards and values. Group number 3, that will never happen with someone who genuinely likes you and genuinely sees a long-term connection with you. Next up, let's talk about the Princess of Swords. Now, the Princess of Swords, also known as the Page of Swords in the traditional tarot, is a card here in connectivity to Mercury retrograde that shows that you're relearning communication. Just to freshen your mind, Mercury retrograde, the next one is the 29th of December up until the 18th of January 2023. And I want you to know here with the Princess of Swords that during this period of time, you're relearning how to communicate in relationships. You're relearning how to set boundaries. Through all of the relationships you've been in that have maybe been like a little disaster, where you've let someone walk all over you or talk to you in a disrespectful way, maybe you've allowed mistreatment to go on for a very long time, which is not to blame you, group number 3, but it's just to say that when those toxic relationships end, it actually gives you an opportunity to start new healthy relationships right on the note of respecting you, right on the note of exploring your new boundaries and limitations that you're setting, okay, on how people can interact, how much energy they can get. And that's often a lot easier because once you're in a relationship that's already toxic, it's really hard to change those patterns. It can be challenging, and it will only work if both parties engage in that. However, if you already start a new relationship on the note of not taking any BS or playing any games with another person, that's when you have their respect from the start, because respect is something that's very hard to get back when someone has gotten in the habit of disrespecting you. So group 3, I definitely see here that there are favorable changes that are coming with this retrograde when it comes to your communication style and upcoming relationships, upcoming connections in your life. Now, group number 3, this is the reading that I received for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Leave a little flame emoji below in the comment section, because we all know Mars is just fiery and amped up. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you feel better after watching this video than before and you feel more prepared, That was the entire goal of this. That's the goal of my whole channel. It's to serve you, group number 3, and I am so thankful for your presence and that you were here. I'm sending you so much love, so many virtual hugs, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose Uranus in connectivity to the lapis lazuli. Let me explain to you what's going on. So first up, here's your gorgeous lapis lazuli. This is such a beautiful stone. If you're a Vampire Diaries fan, then you know the significance of this beautiful crystal. It was used in ancient times in order to create paint for beautiful paintings. So at the center of your reading, we of course have the Uranus retrograde, which is taking place between the 24th of August of 2022 and the 23rd of January 2023. So throughout the next couple months, Uranus is retrograding, and I will explain to you exactly what that means in just a second. Furthermore, we have all the other planets here that are retrograding during the time that this prediction speaks of. We've got Mercury retrograde, Jupiter, Mars, and Neptune, and I will go into detail about the dates and specifics of what's happening during each retrograde's individual date, so you can actually put a very precise time to the different events that are taking place that we're going to figure out right now as we delve into your reading. So Uranus retrograde, as mentioned, is happening up until January 23rd, and it started on the 24th of August. And just in case you didn't know, Uranus is actually the planet of uniqueness, of the unusual and unexpected. It is the planet of reform and revolution. So let's move into what's going on as Uranus is retrograding and what changes are taking place. So we've got the Bardo. We've got some big endings here. And of course, these endings make a lot of sense as the end of the calendar year is coming up, right? Group number 4. So it could be, for example, the ending of the fiscal year and having to do accounting for your business, for your own personal taxes. It could be the end of the year that just feels so monumental, and like you can finally start something on a completely fresh note. Furthermore, in the Bardo, I also see that this ending could be the ending of a job, of a situation that you were just really used to, but you know it has to come to an end, and things are just going to change, whether you want them to or not. I want to go into a little bit more detail so we can see if there's any more information that you had to receive about the ending that we have here in the Bardo. So we've got the Camel, persevere and you will overcome problems. So I see in connectivity to Uranus retrograde and the Bardo that anything you're struggling to finish right now, know that you will be able to successfully complete it. So if there is a big project that has been just kind of hanging over your head, that you have been procrastinating, that's been taking a long time for you to complete, know that you will complete it up until the end of the calendar year, but you will have to show discipline and persevere in order for that to happen. So I do see here within the ink pot and the ladder that problems will be resolved up until the end of the year, and then you will be able to climb towards success. So there are endings to problems that are coming for the end of the calendar year, which is a very favorable reading to receive already, group number 4. So it looks like Uranus retrograde is actually really serving you, as any type of loose ends that have come undone will be tied up and they will be just finished off up until the end of the year, so you can move forward with your life. You don't have to overthink things from the past or anything from 2022 that either got under your skin that made you feel very disappointed and sad or insecure. You will be able to leave everything that doesn't serve you in 2022 and move on with your life thanks to how Uranus retrograde is affecting you. Now, let's see what is happening here in connectivity to Mars retrograde, because Mars is retrograding a lot, okay? Mars is retrograding almost the entire time. Uranus is retrograding too. Mars retrogrades from the 30th of October of 2022 up until the 12th of January 2023. So depending on when you've tuned into this, group number 4, maybe Mars is already in retrograde and these effects are already taking place. I can see here within Kairos that you will be able to see things more clearly. You'll be able to see people for who they really are. You'll be able to see through shady business deals, and that's also why you're able to climb towards success here within the ladder. That's one thing that I can see. Furthermore, within the unseen, it becomes again very clear how your viewpoint, your sight, the eye is a very important symbol, and sight, just overall seeing again. If you've had any problems with your vision as well, group number 4, expect that to improve towards the end of the year. Expect just overall anything that has to do with your sight, with that type of sensory perception to get better for this retrograde, to really kind of challenge it in a way that ups the game for you, where you're able to be more capable of seeing things, of viewing things, of seeing through things as well. Let's move on over here to Jupiter retrograde. And now Jupiter, in case you didn't know, is the planet of growth, of also long distance travel, communication, things like that. So anything that's kind of like far away, if you will. Jupiter retrogrades from the 28th of July of 2022 to the 23rd of November of 2022. So feel free to write this down or in your itinerary when Jupiter retrograde ends, especially if you don't like what's happening here as Jupiter is retrograding. But maybe you do also like the effects of Jupiter retrograde and you really want to like enjoy it up until the 23rd of November. But let's figure out what the effects of Jupiter retrograde are on you, group 4. We've got the sustainer. Okay, so I see care, love, and attention to detail that's being put into your life here during Jupiter retrograde. So I can see that very unexpected care is coming towards you. So maybe a lover being a lot more attentive than you ever thought. Someone kind of holding you in a very soft embrace, in a very kind, soft-hearted manner. I see here within the sustainer that you're also spending a lot of time taking care of other people who are more vulnerable, who are in a state of more kind of softness, if you will. As you can see, we've got a very gentle kind of touch around this ball that seems to be like clay or just something that is soft to the touch, if you will, that is also malleable. So I see here within the sustainer that with more gentleness, you're able to get what you want out of people. And up until the 23rd of November, as Jupiter is in retrograde, I do definitely see here that people listen to you and you're able to change people's opinions. That especially goes for people close to you, people in your community. That's what I see here within the village for you, group number 4. And furthermore, with the sustainer, I also see that you're taking part in some projects in your neighborhood. So it could be, for example, a neighborhood watch. It could be some sort of get together with neighbors where you're able to just connect with the community and just be part of a larger organization. I also see here with the sustainer and the village that if you come from a large family or you have a lot of extended family or friends who you consider family, I can see here that a lot of care and thought is being put into those areas of your life actually during this retrograde, which brings a lot of comfort to your relationships and also means that you have a lot of favors that you can cash in after this Jupiter retrograde. Not that you're going to cash them all in, but group number 4, it's always nice to know that you were there for another person and that if you really need them, they'd be there for you too. So now I want to talk about Neptune retrograde, which is from the 28th of June 2020 up until the 4th of December of 2022. Neptune is the planet of imagination, spirituality, and also psychic abilities. So let's see how this is affected during the retrograde and what it means for you. We've got perfect moments. So I can see here that you're intuitively guided to experience everything that you need to in order to successfully conquer your goals and your aspirations. So know here that across the next weeks and months, there will be some really perfect moments that just feel like they're from a movie, from a fairy tale, perfect romantic moments, perfect moments when it comes to your job and you're being called to just enjoy those wholesome times. Just enjoy that wholesome hour that you're maybe spending with someone whom you love or you're crushing on, to just enjoy the attention when you're being celebrated for work that you've done really well, whether it's 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days, whatever it is. Group number 4, just enjoy your moment and don't feel too shy to take it, to be the person who is the center of attention. We also have the number 28 here in connectivity to the perfect moments card. Now the base vibration of 28 is 1 because 2 plus 8 equals 10. And then we continue adding up those numbers. So we've got 1 plus 0, which equals 1. And 1 is the number of initiation, of leadership, of almost like egocentric type of energy energy of being the one who stands out, of not always feeling the need to shy away or put someone else in the spotlight. It's okay for you to be in the spotlight too, group number 4. And I see that Neptune retrograde is definitely bringing that out, and you're being rewarded for your imaginative approach to problem solving, and also the fact that you're not afraid to take initiative to try new things. Next up, we've got connecting with nature. So during Neptune retrograde, so especially till the 4th of December of 2022, please connect with nature as much as you can. Group number 4, it will serve you more than you ever expected. I see here with connect with nature that it's necessary for you to ground yourself to be in nature. It is the only way that you will feel as whole as you possibly can feel, and it will work wonders. It may feel awkward at first if you're going out alone in nature. It may almost be a little bit scary, but you'll get used to it, group number 4, and it will serve you more than you ever expected. Don't be afraid to take off your shoes when you're outside, to just let your hair down, and to simply enjoy being as authentic as you've ever been during this Neptune retrograde. Now, last but not least, I want to talk about what is probably the most famous retrograde, which is Mercury retrograde, right? We hear about it all the time, most likely also because it happens multiple times a year. Now, Mercury retrograde is taking place from the 29th of December of 2020 until the 18th of January of 2023. So feel free to write that down if you're an avid fan, or how should I say, anti-fan of Mercury retrograde, just so you're aware of when this is taking place. But let's see how Mercury retrograde will affect you in your life, group 4. We've got the best of you. Wow, Mercury retrograde is serving you this time. If you feel as though things are always going left or going backwards during Mercury retrogrades, not this one, group number 4, not this one, because I actually see that this Mercury retrograde is going to have you look like a hero, like a stunning individual who is so caring, so there for other people. So there will be drama, there will be people breaking down all around you, needing emotional support, all of these things, but it's not going to be you, group number 4. That is the good news, okay? Not that of course, you're happy about anyone who you care about going through it, but the struggle bus is not you. You're actually going to be able to show yourself from the best, most caring side, and you will finally be able to show the people who you say that you'll be there for that you're actually there for them. Okay, you will be able to prove to the people who mean the most to you that no matter what they're going through, they can talk to you, and you won't judge, you won't put them down, you won't stand in the way of their solutions. No, you will just hold their hand and guide them. And I see here within Claim Your Energy that a little disclaimer that's being put out to you, group number 4, is to make sure that you don't spend too much of your time and your energy on other people's issues, and that you do set some boundaries as well. Because unfortunately, there are some people who just trauma dump. Now, what that means is they come to you with their traumas and their issues, and without even asking you if you're emotionally available, they just dump it on you, ask you for solutions, ask you for help. And that can be a lot when you're going through your own things. And that's where you have to also claim your energy. Yes, you're doing a fantastic job at being someone who is there for others and providing emotional security and safety for other people, group number 4, but you also have to claim your energy respectfully on a daily basis. So you don't just give everyone the best of you, as we have here, right? And you're just left with whatever is left of you. No, you have to claim the best of your energy first and give others what you have left. Okay, you fill up your cup first, and then once it runs over, you can fill up other cups. And that way, resentment is not going to start fostering, it's not going to grow, and you're not going to burn yourself out. Now, group number 4, this is the reading that I received for you. Make sure that you leave a little flower emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you received this reading, and that you watched it all the way to the end, and you love this super fun, innovative type of concept that just hasn't been done before. Now, group 4, thank you so much for being here, for supporting me and all of the ideas that I have here on my channel. I appreciate you more than I can put in words. I love you guys more than I can even put in words, and know that I'm just sending you so many hugs and nothing but positivity. Take care, group number 4, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number 5, and welcome to your reading. You chose Mercury in connectivity to Jade. I know there's a lot going on right now in your reading, and I'm going to explain to you in a second what we've got after I've familiarized you with the crystal of your choice. This is the Jade. This is a crystal known to this day as one that brings abundance, luck, and good fortune into your life, which is maybe why you ended up choosing this crystal, but maybe you just also loved its appearance. Now let's talk about what's going on here. So I've got all the planets that are retrograding during the time frame that we're discussing, including Mercury, of course. Mercury goes into retrograde on the 29th of December of 2022 up until the 18th of January of 2023. But a lot of these other planets are retrograding right now as we speak, while Mercury is preparing to go into retrograde. So let's figure out exactly how the upcoming Mercury retrograde and the other retrogrades are going to affect your life, as we can actually put a date to it, right? Because we have added the dates here. I did this little arts and crafts project for you, group number 5, so we can be as precise as possible about what's coming towards you in the next couple weeks and months. So let's see what is coming for you during Mercury retrograde. Okay, there's hope on the horizon. I see here that towards the end of the calendar year, there will be this huge increase in hope for you, and I can definitely see that there is a lot that's going for you during Mercury retrograde. So despite Mercury retrograde being infamous for being difficult, everything going wrong, electronic devices breaking down, having to buy new phones because we've shattered our phone screens, all of these dramatic situations. No, actually, Mercury retrograde is really serving you this time round. Next up, we've got the grasshopper. I do see here within the grasshopper that you have to communicate very carefully, though, with those around you because they may not be having the best time. So group number 5, what that means is that while everything is going so well in your life, be sensitive to people who are struggling. As I see here with Mars retrograding right now, or probably as you're watching this video, as Mars is retrograding from the 30th of October to the 12th of January of 2023, I definitely see that some people are going through a tough time. They're feeling irritable, they're feeling angry, maybe someone broke up with them, someone ghosted them, they have some legal fees they need to pay, some money problems, and group number 5, as things are going so well for you and you're just trying to celebrate your successes, beware that some people might take it the wrong way and they may feel as though you're boasting and you're bragging, even though you're not. But this reading is here to help you improve your communication as well as your relationships, be it at work or romantic ones, platonic ones. So know here in the grasshopper that not everyone is going to be just as excited for your wins as you are. So be very selective about whom you share all of your success with. Next up, we've got the dog close up. So in the dog close up, this is exactly what the solution is. Have fun and pleasure just with close friends, okay? Just with close friends who you know are trustworthy, who you know no matter how hard, how difficult, how challenging their life is. If you have a win, they're celebrating it. They're forgetting about their issues. They're actually feeling elated about the fact that at least you're doing well. That's one thing that I see with Mercury in retrograde and Mars in retrograde, that the best thing you can really do for yourself is to spend time with those cheerleaders that are there. No matter if they're rocking a broken leg themselves, they're happy to cheer you on the field, group number 5. So that is what I deem here as very important and as the main message from your guides. The 4-leaf clover shows me here that invites good luck into your life. And this just goes together so beautifully with the jade, right? And this crystal of good fortune. Know here within the 4-leaf clover that good fortune is coming towards you during Mercury and Mars retrograde. So jot that down in your itinerary and your schedule. If you have big decisions to make, this is an amazing time for you, group number 5, because everything is just on point and moving in your favor. So let's talk about Jupiter retrograde, because Jupiter is retrograding from July 28th till the 23rd of November. So depending on when you're watching this video, group number 5, Jupiter may just be in midst of still retrograding. And this is actually the planet of growth, of higher education, of philosophies. Let's see exactly what's going on here, how this is being affected for the next couple weeks and months. So we've got the table. I see here within the table that you're going to have to work hard when it comes to your education, and you're going to have to put in the work, those late hours, those early mornings, that dedication, that discipline. That's what I see here with Jupiter retrograde and the table. But you can do it. Jupiter retrograde corresponds to the carnelian crystal, which is a crystal of vigor, of action, of energy, and it definitely brings passion into the situation too. So if you're studying something that you're passionate about, or you want to get those extra credentials, that extra diploma that you've always kind of eyed up, okay? It could be a yoga teacher training. It could be just learning more about herbal medicines, for example, getting a little diploma in that. It doesn't even have to relate to your day job, group number 5. This is just all about hard work in something that inspires you and in something that makes you grow, in something that makes you expand your worldview and your mental realm. I see here within the cane that you're being asked to pay close attention to your health up until the 23rd of November, group number 5. Do not play games with your health. If you've got aches and pains, go to the doctor immediately. Don't let it fester. If there is any kind of risky situation that you may put yourself in health-wise, don't do it, okay? Don't take risks. No parachuting, no bungee jumping. Just no, group number 5. During this Jupiter retrograde, pay attention to your health and don't put yourself in situations where there is any unnecessary danger to your health. Next up, we've got the star. So as long as you do this, success is guaranteed. Group number 5, this is literally your step-by-step guide for success for these next weeks and months. How to successfully get through Jupiter, Mercury retrograde, Mars, Neptune, and Uranus retrograde, coming out the other end stronger, with extra credentials, a diploma, more knowledge in your head, and just overall in amazing shape, okay? So let's move a little more deeply into this prediction. Let's talk about Uranus retrograde. Now, Uranus is retrograding until the 23rd of January of 2023. So it's probably retrograding right now for you, group number 5. And it starts on August 24th of 2022. So Uranus retrograding till the beginning of 2023 is definitely going to have a huge effect as it's retrograding for a long time. And I see here within a gape that what Uranus in retrograde is going to do, it's going to illuminate a lot of areas of your life in which you need a reform and a revolution. So relationships that are maybe unhealthy, you will finally see the red flags, even if it's months or weeks later. If there's a situation where you thought something was weird about you, something was unique about you, and you couldn't quite put your finger on it, any type of psychic abilities that you may have had will be revealed as we've got Neptune in retrograde. And let me tell you what, Neptune in retrograde, and it's retrograding until the 4th of December of 2022, this is the planet of psychic abilities, of imagination, of spirituality, and just the fact that Uranus and Neptune are retrograding at the same time, okay, there's something happening here where unusual and unexpected psychic abilities are popping up, and maybe even encounters, psychic encounters, paranormal experiences. That's one thing that I see here for you, group number 5. Let's talk about what those may be. We've got apocalypsis. So some paranormal experiences that you really just did not expect at all. Maybe you're even a skeptic. You don't quite know if paranormal experiences are real, if past life regressions are real, if you can talk to lost loved ones and so on. But I definitely see like an opening, like a connection, a portal of communication with the other world, okay, with the unseen, with a realm that we're not really familiar with or used to. So that could be deceased loved ones, it could be spirit animals, spirit guides. I just definitely want you to understand here that there are some huge spiritual communications that are taking place, and in a way like spiritual awakening type of vibes. That's one thing that I can see here. Next up, we've got the creator, meeting the creator, group number 5. This is going to be a very eye-opening experience. It's going to be a life-changing, transformative experience. Meeting the creator is going to completely change your worldview forever. So whether you believe in angels, gods, the universe, whether you're a skeptic, I see that something greater than yourself will be communicating with you so clearly that it's undeniable that there is something there. If you were once a skeptic, that skepticism is going to be completely gone. And if you just needed a confirmation of being guided and supported, you're going to receive that. And I see that you will receive that before the 4th of September of 2022 in a very, very clear way. I see here within the empty room that what's actually going to happen is it's going to come to you in a very private moment. It's going to be an empty room. Think late at night as you're lying in bed or early in the morning, just during a time where you're in a private space, in a room where there isn't too much going on, okay? It's a pretty empty feeling type of room, and you're maybe just kind of staring at the ceiling. It's dark, and all of a sudden it will come to you, and a connection will be established between you and what you deem as the creator, as your creator. I want to move back to Uranus, right? And Uranus is the planet of the unusual and the unexpected. We spoke about how that is affecting Neptune and retrograde, as they're retrograding at the same time with these other planets, as well as all of these planets are retrograding. So if there's something that can retrograde, it's happening during these next weeks and months. But Uranus specifically is about revolution, reform, that type of change. And this is taking place until the 23rd of January of 2023. And I want to see what else is happening. In Anima Mundi, I can see here that what happens is within you a huge change and reform in your attitude towards other people and unexpected situations. So you are kind of accepting of everything. You're rejecting nothing. That's what Amina Mundi really stands for. And I can definitely see that this is serving you in the sense of guiding you towards your highest good, and you not rejecting anything and just seriously practicing gratitude, almost as though it's your religion, as though it's like the only thing that matters. I definitely see here that this is inviting some unexpected things in, okay, sensually as well. So we've got a very sensual moment here. We've got your sensuality and intimacy, that happening in an unexpected way in the next couple weeks and months for you after watching this video, group number 5. So I wouldn't be surprised if the best lover you ever had in your whole entire life comes into your life here during Uranus retrograde. Okay, so before the 23rd of January of 2023, being with someone in an intimate way, it's just mind-blowing. Okay, you've never experienced something like this before. There has never been someone who has turned you on so much. There has never been someone who has made your knees so weak. That is one thing that I see here within Uranus retrograde that is likely to happen for you if you're very open, of course, to the possibilities. So not writing anyone off, going out of your way to go on dates if you're single. But if you are in a committed relationship, and not being afraid to try new things, trust me, you're going to try that one toy, that one situation, that one new move, mindset, that game with a partner. And you're going to think to yourself, this is the best thing ever. I should have done this way before. I feel so much more connected to what happens, behind closed doors. I feel so much connected to my sensuality. Not to make this not PG-13 or not family friendly, group number 5, but I think it's important that we discuss everything because sensuality is a part of the human experience. And I definitely see here within Eros that we've got some very heated, spicy moments coming for you. Now, group number 5, this is the reading that I received for you. Leave a little rainbow emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you watched your reading all the way to the end and that you enjoyed this new, really fun format that I came up with. And of course, my little arts and crafts inspired planets that I created for you. So thank you for being here, group number 5. I love you guys so, so much. I cannot even put it in words. I can't wait to see what comes next for you. I'm looking forward to all of your feedback on this video, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming predictions.